Hello and welcome to another video here on the Giant Take YouTube channel. 2022 New York Giants training camp day 10 recap. Double digits. I thought it was going to be a good day. That's what I posted on Twitter. That's what double digits means, but I don't know. It didn't seem to go that way. From yesterday, day 9, which was our biggest day personally, probably like in our entire 2 year plus podcast history, and also New York Giants training camp practices wise, probably yesterday was the best Giants training camp we've had so far. And there were the brawls, and then there were the 11 on 11s, which were really intense. So there's a lot of deep throws, interceptions, runs, catches, plays, whatever. Today, none of that. And we're going to talk about why. But first of all, my name is Josh, and I am joined by my friend and co-host Alex. Alex, how are you?
I'm doing well. It was definitely a fun day. Wasn't the most exciting day, but it was certainly still fun hanging out with everyone. And it was just nice being engrossed in the whole Giants community. So that was certainly fun. But in terms of what actually happened, nothing too crazy, really. I guess we'll get started into it. Evan Neal switched his number to 73. He's back to 73, no longer 70. So what does that mean? Hopefully he plays a little bit better, and we'll see how he does. I'm really excited to see how he does in the first, live action preseason game on Thursday, which we're both really excited about. So let's see how he does there. Today was not a pads day, so it was shells only. The players were in shorts, so in general, it was a bit more low key. You could kind of say it was light or boring, kind of. The 11 on 11s weren't really close to the same intensity as yesterday. Why do you think that was, Josh? Do you have any ideas why?
I think that, well, I would say it was very light for the players and then boring for us as fans to watch, right? Because we want stuff to cover as we have the podcast and the YouTube channel here, and we want some fun. And we didn't really get the big plays or the fun that we normally got yesterday and previous days of training camp. But yes, why? It's been a really hot day in Jersey today. I know there's like a heat warning right now about how high it's supposed to get this afternoon as we're recording this in the early afternoon. So I guess that's it, mixed with, I guess, the game on Thursday. I don't know, because I feel like I know the team during the regular season, they don't practice on Saturday, right? That's their off day. But they do have these types of practices on those Fridays. So I guess they're kind of matching a 2 days before the game, like a regular season type tempo when it comes to practice. So they're just kind of using this as an example. They are playing a game on Thursday. And if you remember, like Alex was saying with Evan Neal, teams, they all have coaches, they all have their decisions on playing their starters or not. Brian Dable said that in these preseason games, or at least the first game against the Patriots, for certain, we will see our starters on the field for some amount of time, whether that's a drive, single drive, a quarter or a half. We will see those starters at some point. Obviously, the injured ones, no. One of those being Josh Azudu, we won't be seeing on Thursday. But besides that, we should see every one of our starters that were out there today at least. So that will be fun and exciting stuff. So yes, with that, let's get into who we didn't see today. Leonard Williams did not practice. I assume it's just a rest day. He's honestly looked like the best player on the field so far in training camp. So it's okay. We'll let him get some treatment and get a rest day. But yeah, Josh Azudu missed his second practice in a row. And with that, it means that he will not be participating in the Patriots game on Thursday, I believe. If he does play, that'll be a shocker to me. But I don't think he will be playing because it seems like now this has become an injury problem for him and they don't want to risk anything more. Xavier Mckinney's birthday was today. I say that just because Julian Love and another player, I don't remember, but I remember specifically Julian Love had the New York Giants fans by our section start a happy birthday song towards Xavier McKinney. So that was super cool, saying happy birthday to him. He's my favorite New York Giant. So fun for me to do that. And happy birthday to Xavier McKinney. Next up here, Daniel Jones. I don't understand it. They were running 11 on 11s. We talked about practice being very light. They were doing a little bit more effort than they would in walkthroughs. Walkthroughs meaning they are walking through the play just to like get a little stretched out. They normally do it even before stretches right in the beginning of training camp. This was a little more than walkthroughs. This was jog throughs, let's call it, right? Going less than 50%, maybe 40%, in my opinion. I don't know. Alex, do you disagree or disagree with like 40%, 50%?
50%'s fair. 50%. There we go.
Sure. So then I don't know how Daniel Jones is still ending up throwing interceptions when they're going 50%. And he didn't just do one, he threw three in total. Now, I was talking with Bobby Skinner and Justin Panic of Talking Giants about like what they thought, and Bobby was not jotting down these. Normally, he calculates Jones's completion percentage during these, but he didn't count this as like 11 on 11 team drills. Same thing with Justin. He was like, but I wouldn't really count this. So I guess you don't have to, but it's like, I feel like this is even worse that they're barely even trying, and yet he's still ending up throwing picks. Now, the picks they were caught by Adoree Jackson and Aaron Robinson, two of them. I don't know who caught the third one. But I guess in that way, it shows
third one wasn't his fault either. It was tipped up by Barkley. It was kind of like an Evan Ingram situation. So I didn't really count it as his fault. So that was kind of the main reason I only put these two.
Adoree Jackson and Aaron Robinson having a nice training camp so far. That's why more Adoree Jackson, though, and he is going to be our number one cornerback. So that's good to note as of now. So maybe better for them. And Wink Martindale's defense just looked extremely good, and that's why. But then, Alex, I was talking about you on the way home. Is that like, all right, well, you can say, oh, it's just training camp, and Jones, he's learning and whatever, and it's the defense is good. Well, then why do you look at our backup quarterback right now in Tyrod Taylor and see that he hasn't really thrown any interceptions in training camp thus far? Today, I didn't see him throw any picks in 11 on 11 drills. So why is it that Jones ends up with 3 and he ends up with 0? Is it just Tyrod Taylor's a better quarterback? We'll find out, I guess, in preseason. But for right now, Tyrod Taylor looking very good today, and I'll let you express more about that.
Yeah, I think one thing you do have to say with that, though, is Tyrod Taylor is going up against the second unit defense. And I think the second unit defense compared to the first unit defense is much worse than the first. I think the gap between the first and second team defense compared to the gap between the first and second team offense it's much greater. I think there's a much greater disparity. I think the second team offense is actually not much worse than the first team offense just because of how bad the first team offense is. But Tyrod Taylor, you're right. He's looked fluid. He's run through his motions, through his reads really well, and he's had a pretty high completion percentage. I don't remember him having an incomplete pass today. So it was nearly up in the 80s or 90s at least. Could have even been 100%. Didn't keep track of his, but certainly was very fluid today and didn't throw a single pick either of any of the days that we've been at training camp.
No, I mean, I definitely seen him throw a pick in training camp, at least one, but I haven't seen him do more than just one pick. But I definitely seen him throw one because like I remember it vividly kind of in my head. So it's definitely happened, but not many, not compared to Jones. Yeah, so I don't know. All those people writing the reports and going on Twitter and saying Tyrod Taylor number 1 day starter. We got a lot of those on our Adoree Jackson and Xavier Mckinney picks videos clips from yesterday. So I'm starting to get to the point of like agreeing with that. I don't know. I can't say it yet, but it's just training camp. Let's see how he does in the preseason games. The reason we didn't get more clips today, I should address this as well. Security was on our asses today. Like really, there were 2 guards circling around the no clips. They were very high on that. This was our last practice, which sucked because we were like, let's get as many as we can before we get out of here. The last one for all Giants fans, I believe, is next Sunday or this upcoming Sunday. We won't be able to go, but it sucks that we weren't able to get more this last one. But that's why we didn't have as many clips as yesterday. Yesterday, we kind of had a free little area to roam with clips and really worked out for us. So we take what we get. Next up here, Jamie Gillen, the Giants special teams unit, just did some practicing on fake field goals. Gillen thrown the most lobby passes I've ever seen in my entire life to the end zone to these big offensive blockers, offensive linemen who block on special teams. Some of them were overthrown. Some of them were on point. There was like 4 or 5 of them. It wasn't anything crazy, but just something funny, a little clip that I got there, and funny to watch them work on that. If you remember, I believe in practice, the media saw, was that last season or 2 seasons ago when Andrew Thomas caught the ball against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers in the end zone for a touchdown. They were practicing that play in practice that week. but no one reported about it. Or maybe someone reported about it and then they like took it down immediately because the Giants told them to take it down. I remember there was like a whole story there. So who knows? Maybe in the Patriots game on Thursday we see this fake field goal play. I'm just kidding, but I don't know, something funny that they were working on today.
Yeah, that was certainly pretty funny, especially seeing the big offensive lineman struggle to get to the ball after Jamie Gillen's terrible passing. But anyway, Kadarius Toney, I know he's been like flaky throughout training camp, and that really didn't change today. He caught a couple passes in the beginning of 11 on 11s, but then he just disappeared for the second half of 11 on 11 drills and overall drills in general. He was just gone. So it's funny. It's like his workload is severely limited, it seems, by Brian Dable and his staff.
I just wanted to mention, Alex, we should definitely talk about who then took his role on the first team, wide receivers wise, when he was gone. And that was Colin Johnson and Darius Slayton. It seemed like they rotated on the first team in replacement of Kadarius Toney.
Yeah, I would say, yeah, that was definitely, Colin Johnson, I thought, did the most with his opportunities. Darius Slayton, it seems like, has a really good connection with Tyrod Taylor, funny enough. But Colin Johnson and Daniel Jones also seem to have a pretty good connection. So it was kind of funny there. But yeah, both of those guys with Wandell in the slot, obviously, were pitching in the first team.
And with that, I think that's it for day 10. Again, a slow day. We're going to keep you in the loop with these daily videos, although we might take a little rest tomorrow. But I'm sure if we're not back on Thursday, we'll be back on Friday talking about Giants preseason game, their first preseason game of 3 versus the New England Patriots. We're excited. We're hyped. Let's see this Giants offense, and hopefully they do something good. And defense. Can't forget about Wink Martindale's blitz defense. I'm going to like to see blitz on Thursday. Anyway, thanks so much for watching. Hit the subscribe button down below. Drop a like on this video. And let me make it full view. We will see you next time for another video. Peace.